In this video, I'm going to go over the key differences between a barbell and dumbbell bench press and how the two free weight variations challenge your body differently. Now, if you're interested in learning the basics of a barbell bench press, I recommend watching my previous video. So, the range of motion for a barbell bench press is limited due to the fact that the bar is going to be hitting your chest. And so when we're thinking about barbell range of motion, it goes from chest all the way full extension in your arm. Now going to a dumbbell bench press, because they're not locked against each other, you are able to go through a larger range of motion, which does lead to a greater chest activation through a greater range of motion, which means your chest can contract more when it's fully extended. Now, regarding pectoral development, for a barbell bench press, sometimes it can lead itself to unilateral dominance, especially when you start generating more pressing power from your dominant side, because your weaker side doesn't have to compensate as much because the bar is attached on both sides with your hands. Now, because with a dumbbell, both arms generate independent pressing power of each other, it does lead itself to having to compensate with both arms together, and you do have to generate equal pressing power. Now, regarding time under tension on your chest, for a barbell bench press, depending on how wide or narrow you grip the bar, can change the loading on your chest. So for example, if you're grabbing very wide on a barbell, you're going to get greater shoulder activation and a little more outer pec activation, versus if you grab more narrow, you'll get a little more tricep and chest activation. Whereas for the time under tension on a dumbbell, because you cannot rest a dumbbell or let it sit on your chest, you do have constant time under tension when you are doing dumbbell bench presses throughout the range of motion. So which one is better? For a barbell bench press, you are able to use heavier weights relative to dumbbells by about 20% increase for the barbell bench press. Now, this does lead to a greater mechanical tension throughout the barbell bench press, which also means when we're considering the weight increase, you are able to progressively overload the barbell bench press much more than you can with a dumbbell bench press. So for example, if you're bench pressing 150 pounds and increase by 5 pounds, that's about a 3% increase in weight, versus if you are bench pressing 50-pound dumbbells and increase it by 5 pounds, it's a 10% increase in weight, which is significantly more of a jump in weight. According to a number of different studies, the dumbbell bench press leads to a greater activation of your pectoral major and anterior deltoids because it's going through a greater range of motion, and you're staying constantly under tension. Now, that range of motion also ends up being more natural to your body positioning because you aren't fixed to a straight bar path. Additionally, this leads to less aches and pains while bench pressing because each arm moves independent of one another and your body can move through its more natural range of motion. Finally, dumbbell bench press also leads to a more well-developed development of your pectorals because that range of motion is natural and because you are moving independent of one another and getting full contraction to your chest, and you aren't subconsciously favoring one side versus the other. So both dumbbell and barbell bench press are a great inclusion to almost any weightlifting programs, but it's important to take into consideration how they challenge your body differently when you are including them in your program and what goals you are working towards. Now that's all for this video, and I will see you in the next one.